The 1960s weren't just about the solo stars, they were also the decade of rich harmonies and road-worn country bands.
I don't like wheat, I don't like rye, I don't like white, and I'll tell you why.
The Wilburn Brothers brought sibling soul straight into American living rooms.
Think a little more of others.
The Osborne Brothers lit up bluegrass with electricity. These are 12 underrated country bands of the 60s that deserve another listen today.
My heart is now wondering, no misery can tell.
Number 12, the Stoneman Family.
And finally to television, this big family has more than kept its music alive.
Stoneman Family, one of the most hard-working country clans of the era. Coming out of the legacy of Ernest "Pop" Stoneman, this Virginia-born family group carried old-time string band traditions into the modern 1960s.
Here is the Stoneman Family.
Signed to MGM Records, they brought their Appalachian sound onto national stages, even winning the CMA's Vocal Group of the Year in 1967. What set them apart was the sheer energy of their live performances. They weren't polished Nashville crooners, they were raw, fiery, and authentic. From banjo breakdowns to tight harmonies, the Stonemans reminded audiences of country's rural roots at a time when Nashville was turning slick. Imagine hearing them on a transistor radio at a summer county fair, the fiddles leaping like sparks from a bonfire. They made you want to dance, laugh, and stomp your feet. And though they never became a household name, their legacy lives on in every revival of bluegrass and roots country today. From family harmonies, we move to a pair of brothers whose sound stretched beyond the hollers. Number 11, the Gosdin Brothers. Gosdin Brothers, a duo that blended country with California folk rock flair. Vern and Rex Gosdin grew up in Alabama, but in the 1960s, they were swept into the West Coast's music revolution. Signed to Capitol Records, they worked alongside Gene Clark of the Byrds, creating a fusion of harmony-driven country and the rising sound of folk rock.
Roses don't bloom in the snow.
The Gosdins never broke huge during the 60s, but their sound was ahead of its time. Their harmonies were pure country, but the instrumentation leaned into jangly guitars and adventurous arrangements. It was country music brushing shoulders with psychedelic California. Picture their records spinning in a college dorm room, the scent of incense in the air, a beat-up acoustic leaning in the corner, proving country music could resonate far beyond Nashville's borders. While Vern Gosdin would go on to solo stardom, the duo's 1960s work remains a hidden treasure. From California dreaming, let's step back into the heart of Tennessee harmony. Number 10, the Carter Family, second generation.
We featured the young ladies all in one group at the beginning. Everybody sang, and I think just about every...
Carter Family. Not the original pioneers of the 1920s, but the second generation led by Mother Maybelle Carter and her daughters, Helen, June, and Anita.
Your family goes right back to the very grassroots of country music. They're here tonight, Mother Maybelle, Helen, and Anita.
By the 1960s, they had become fixtures on the Grand Ole Opry, keeping the Carter tradition alive while adding a modern flair. Their harmonies were unmistakable, rich, familial, and timeless. And of course, June Carter would later marry Johnny Cash, cementing their place in country's grand story.
There when they crucified my Lord.
But during the 1960s, their touring and Opry appearances kept folk traditions in the mainstream. Think of a black and white TV flickering in a living room on a Saturday night. Families gathered close to hear the Carters sing. They weren't chasing trends, they were the tradition.
My heart is now wondering, no misery can tell.
And though overshadowed by Cash's superstardom, the Carter sisters preserved a lineage of American music that still resonates today. From family tradition, we shift to a trio that brought a new, youthful energy to the Nashville scene.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny.
Number 9, the Glaser Brothers.
These three boys about the closest harmony you'll hear anywhere. Tom Paul and the Glaser Brothers.
The Glaser Brothers, Tom Paul, Chuck, and Jim. Signed to MGM in the 1960s, they became known for their seamless harmonies and willingness to push boundaries.
As I sit here alone in my
They weren't just singers. They were trailblazers who later helped create the outlaw movement by opening their own independent studio. But in the 60s, they were all about tight vocal blends. Songs like Gone on the Other Hand showed off their silky harmonies. They even backed up Marty Robbins, proving they could shine both on their own and behind one of country's biggest stars. Imagine them on stage at a smoky Nashville club. 3 microphones, 1 family heartbeat, and a harmony that could hush a rowdy crowd. While they didn't dominate the charts, they laid the groundwork for artists to take creative control. The Glaser Brothers were underrated, but their influence ran deep. From trailblazers, we moved to a duo whose songs became staples on jukeboxes across America.
the only one who ever made me care.
Number 8, the Louvin Brothers.
Brothers again with I Can't Keep You in Love with Me.
Louvin Brothers, Ira and Charlie Louvin. Technically, their heyday peaked in the 1950s, but their shadow stretched far into the 1960s.
Ira and Charlie, the Louvin Brothers.
By then, their harmonies had already influenced generations, and their haunting gospel-tinged songs still appeared on radio playlists. Songs like Knoxville Girl and The Christian Life showcased their mix of beauty and darkness. The Beatles even cited them as an influence. But behind the music, there was turmoil. Ira's fiery temper and troubled life contrasted with the angelic harmonies he created. Picture a jukebox glowing in a roadside diner, their voices floating out over clinking coffee cups and the hum of conversation.
Your arm was resting on his shoulder. You smiled at him.
The Louvins reminded listeners that country music could reach into the soul's deepest corners. Though their partnership ended in 1963, their influence carried well beyond, making them one of country's most underrated acts of the era.
And when you're holding me, no sweeter love could have.
From haunting harmonies, let's turn to a sibling duo with a smoother sound. Number 7, the Collins Kids.
The show now with those 2 little bundles of bouncing T-double-N-T, Larry and Laurie Collins, and hey, hoy.
Larry and Laurie Collins, the Collins Kids. They first hit the scene in the 1950s, but by the 1960s, they were fixtures on TV shows like Town Hall Party.
I don't like cake, I don't like pie, I don't like sweets, and I'll tell you why.
Blending rockabilly fire with country charm. Larry's flashy guitar style, playing a double neck at lightning speed, set them apart. While Laurie's sweet vocals made them crowd favorites. Though they never broke into superstardom, their youthful energy kept them in demand across television and live shows. Picture them on black and white TV, the glow of the screen lighting up a family's living room, kids wide-eyed at Larry's guitar tricks. They brought a sense of fun and showmanship that balanced out the heartache-heavy ballads dominating country at the time. While often left out of the history books, the Collins Kids showed how country could be youthful, energetic, and just plain fun. And speaking of siblings, let's head to Nashville for a brother act that became household regulars. Number 6, the Wilburn Brothers. Doyle and Teddy Wilburn, the Wilburn Brothers. Their harmonies and down-home charm carried them from the Opry stage to their very own syndicated TV show, The Wilburn Brothers Show, which ran throughout the 60s.
Time has brought so little change. Why did she?
Not only did they perform, but they gave young artists a platform. A certain Loretta Lynn got her start thanks to the Wilburns. Their records like Trouble's Back in Town climbed the charts, but it was their television presence that truly made them household names.
Let's all join together and do Put It Off Till Tomorrow, all right?
Picture a family tuning in on a Sunday afternoon. The Wilburns singing in perfect harmony, making the world feel just a little smaller and warmer. Their influence stretched far beyond their own careers. They were tastemakers who gave others their chance to shine.
With a brother that is weaker, think a little more of others.
If these classics are bringing back memories, hit that like button and subscribe. We post new country countdowns every week, keeping the golden years of music alive for fans like you. From TV favorites, we now turn to a family trio with a soaring harmony sound. Perfect. Let's finish this full countdown script with entries number 5 through number 1, plus the outro. Number 5, The Browns.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's greet the Browns.
The Browns, Jim Ed, Maxine, and Bonnie. Their 1959 hit The Three Bells was a crossover smash, but the trio remained strong into the 1960s, delivering lush harmonies that leaned almost toward pop while staying rooted in country tradition.
20 years thereafter, Jimmy was to meet his love.
On RCA Records, they worked with Chet Atkins, whose Nashville sound smoothed the edges of honky-tonk for mainstream appeal. While some traditionalists resisted, the Browns proved country could be sophisticated, even elegant. Picture their music pouring from a hi-fi console in a tidy suburban living room, a young couple swaying in slow dance to the harmonies that blurred the lines between church hymn and love song. Though they disbanded mid-decade when Maxine and Bonnie retired, Jim Ed Brown's solo career carried the torch.
From the village, hidden deep in the valley.
Yet the trio's vocal blend remains one of the most beautiful of the 1960s, a reminder that country could be gentle and graceful without losing its soul. From elegance, we move to a trio that blended folk with Nashville polish.
And the salvation of thy great eternal love.
Number 4, the Pozo-Seco Singers.
Usual sound in a song that's destined for very big hitdom, if there is such a word. It's called I Can Make It With You.
The Pozo-Seco Singers, a folk country trio that captured the spirit of the mid-60s. Featuring Don Williams, who would later become a solo country legend, the group found success with hits like Time,
We're always strong when I'm tired and weak.
In 1966, signed to Columbia Records, they emerged during the folk revival but leaned into country harmonies and storytelling. While they weren't honky-tonk regulars, they proved country music could coexist with the socially conscious and acoustic-driven sound-sweeping college campuses. Picture their songs playing in a campus coffee house, the scent of fresh brewed coffee mingling with cigarette smoke, students quietly nodding along as lyrics reflected both heartbreak and hope. Though they didn't last past the decade, the Pozo-Seco Singers left behind a catalog that bridged folk and country, and gave the world Don Williams, one of the most beloved country voices of all time.
In life's ocean, but most of all,
from coffee houses, we shift to another trio whose harmonies echoed with Southern roots and family ties. Number 3, the Harden Trio.
Let's welcome the Harden Trio.
We celebrate the Harden Trio, Bobby and his sisters, Arlene and Robbie. Best remembered for their 1966 top 20 hit Tippy Towing, they embodied the family harmony tradition of country music while adding a playful, upbeat twist. Released on Columbia Records, Tippy Towing wasn't just catchy.
Daddy rock the baby too, it's a yawning and a getting sleepy maybe.
It was one of those tunes that stuck in your head long after the jukebox stopped spinning. The group leaned into youthful energy, making them stand out in an era dominated by heartbreak ballads. Picture tippy-toeing, pouring from a jukebox in a roadside diner, kids giggling and tapping their shoes, parents smiling as the trio's harmonies filled the air with joy. Though their career as a group was short-lived, all three Hardens went on to solo work, writing and recording for Nashville through the decade. The Harden Trio remains one of the most charming what-if stories in 1960s country music. From playful charm, we head to a band that pushed tradition straight into innovation. Number 2, the Osborne Brothers.
Ruby, honey, are you managed?
The Osborne Brothers, Sonny and Bobby, who took bluegrass and gave it a modern twist. Their 1967 hit Rocky Top became a country standard. So beloved it was later adopted as a state song of Tennessee.
Home sweet home to me, good old Rocky Top.
Signed to Decca Records, they weren't afraid to experiment. They added electric instruments and drums to their bluegrass sound, angering purists but winning new audiences. This willingness to innovate kept them relevant at a time when bluegrass was often pushed to the sidelines. Picture Rocky Top, blasting from the speakers of a crowded dance hall, boots stomping in rhythm, the fiddles and banjo sparking joy like fireworks on a summer night. The Osborne Brothers left a legacy of fearless experimentation, proving country's roots could adapt and thrive in new forms. Their sound lives on in bluegrass festivals, and every time a crowd shouts Rocky Top with pride. But before that, there was one band whose lively songs carried the heart of the working class. Number 1, the Willis Brothers.
We're glad to have them back and visiting us. Guy, Skeeter, and Vic, the Willis Brothers.
The Willis Brothers, James Guy, Charles Skeeter, and John Vic. Known affectionately as the Oklahoma Wranglers, this trio carved out a place in the 1960s with their rollicking truck-driving songs and honky-tonk energy. Signed to Starday and later Mercury Records, they recorded classics like Give Me 40 Acres to turn this rig around, which became an anthem for long-haul truckers. At a time when America's highways symbolized freedom and change, the Willis Brothers gave the open road a soundtrack. Picture a semi-truck roaring down Route 66, CB radio crackling, headlights cutting through the night as their song pours from the cab's radio. For the working men and women of the 60s, the Willis Brothers captured grit, humor, and pride. Though often overlooked today, their music shaped the truck-driving subgenre that would influence artists like Dave Dudley and Red Savine. If you've enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more country classics every week. And there you have it, 12 underrated country bands of the 1960s. From the tender harmonies of the Browns to the roadhouse grit of the Willis Brothers, these groups reminded us that country music isn't just about superstars. It's about families, friendships, and fearless voices who carry tradition into a changing world. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic journey. We're so grateful for fans like you who keep these golden sounds alive. And don't miss our next video, 12 underrated country bands of the 1970s, where the sounds of Nashville collide with outlaw grit and the genre takes on a whole new swagger. Until then, keep your jukebox loaded, your radio tuned, and your memories close. Because in country music, every song tells a story,